Hello, BookTube. Sorry for dropping a day on you there, but I'm back, and I thought what better way to get back in the swing of things than by opening some mail together. We've got some mail here on a fairly chilly day with big, heavy bellied clouds moving in and around. Very windy, too, just upset weather. My little princess does not like the threat of rain, and she also doesn't like strong winds. Anything that really messes with her equilibrium she doesn't like. So our dog walks have been contentious and largely short. Uh, and every once in a while, in the course of the day, the sky will just open up and it will pour rain for a little while, which also isn't a big hit with her. So I think it's going to be unsettled weather for the rest of the week. We're just going to have to live with it. Fortunately, there was nothing perishable in the mail today. There are no periodicals. Just packages, and sturdy ones, so nothing was damaged. And once again, we are still looking for May finished copies, even though April finished copies, even though April is getting ready to yield to May. All right, what is this first one? Yes, okay, this is a May finished copy. Imagine if these are finished copies, they'll mostly be May. This is something we've seen already on this channel. This is Mick Herron's new book, Bad Actors. This is about to get a huge turbo boost of popularity because it's about to be made into, I think, an Apple TV series starring Gary Oldman. Okay, who has a blurb? I don't know if he has a blurb on this. Yes, he does. He has a blurb on the book. Interesting. Yeah, this is going to be a new TV series, the Slow House novels. And Gary Oldman has a blurb on the book. I'll tell you what, to have been lucky enough to play Smiley in one's career and now go on and play Jackson Lamb in Mick Herron's novels, the heir in many a way to Le Carré is a terrific thing. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that it is. Let's see here. The washed out spooks of Slow House are back at it, only this time around you can find them falling behind on both page and screen. Truly, it is a golden age for fans of Mick Herron. The Apple TV adaptation is a critical smash with a faithful presentation of the source material delivered brilliantly by a star-studded cast. Then, on May 10th, the author returns readers to the politically prescient and mordantly funny world of Slow House with a new novel, Bad Actors. Okay, well, this even has a picture of Gary Oldman on it. Great. I gather from this pub sheet that the Apple TV show is out already. I think I have a screener for a couple of episodes that I haven't looked at. And I haven't seen the show on my own. I think I have Apple TV. Those are omissions that need to be corrected. All right, so this comes out on the 10th of May. Those of you who have been following this series will need very little. I think I read the first 4 of these, and they're terrific. Absolutely terrific. So those of you who have been following the series better than I have won't need any shove to read the new one. Yeah, look at that. It's raining right now. Pouring down rain. We went out just a little while ago, and it was intermittently sunny, but it was brightly sunny. No hint of rain. All right, what is this next one? Okay, this is a late August release. I think I can block the bean, right? She's not looking at you. This is by Dan Boak, and it is called Democracy's Data: The Hidden Stories in the U.S. Census and How to Read Them. Interesting. The pub sheet refers to the author as a brilliant young historian. And this comes out in hardcover in the end of August. In this book, the author delves deeply into the history of the U.S. Census, using the 1940 census in particular as his lens. He traces the work of that year's census from its earliest days, when an influential group first gathered in Washington to hash out the questions that would be included, through the actual door-to-door work of the enumerators and the ultimate crunching of numbers. But he also jumps backwards and forwards in time, telling the story of the historic undercounting of black Americans, which, as recent reporting has shown, continues to be a problem today, or the story of the fight over Donald Trump's effort to include a question about citizenship status on the most recent census. The author also explores the controversies and ramifications that were specific to the 1940 census, from the outcry over the inclusion of a question about income following a decade of economic depression, to the ultimate weaponization of census records against Japanese Americans after Pearl Harbor. This is, according to its pub sheet, this is an authoritative and unique work of hybrid history, filled with both fine-grained storytelling and big-picture analysis. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I wonder how much space he gives to that brouhaha over the census in Donald Trump's first administration, where they wanted to add a question about whether or not you or anyone in your household is, what was the word here? Citizenship status. Yeah, the question was, are you a legal citizen of the United States? And there was a huge amount of debate on all kinds of levels. People saying, on the one hand, it turns the census into a political tool and an instrument of fear. And on the other hand, people saying, well, isn't that one of the most basic things that a government conducting a census of who lives in its borders should ask? Is, are you a citizen of this country? Isn't that pretty basic, regardless of how it may be misused? And I thought it was interesting that at the back of that whole debate, backwards and forwards, was something that, was in the case so many times in the Trump administration, an unspoken thing. There was an unspoken thing on both sides. Both sides refused to get all the way to the bottom of the rhetorical well. Most of them did. Which is, the unspoken thing was, we know we're dealing with an unscrupulous government. So we're asking these questions on the positive side and the negative side, the utility side and the possible misuse side, always with that thing staring over our shoulder. We don't have to say it, either because we don't want to be branded as, Trump derangement syndrome fearmongers, or because we don't want to fall afoul of Trump himself. So we won't say it on either side, but the unspoken addendum to so much of what went on in those 4 years was, there's no backstop here. There's no safety net here. That's why we're raising this question. Either way, that's why we're raising this question, because, I wonder, this book it's not within this book's remit to capture any of that. Sooner or later, I would like it if some historian did capture what those years were like. It won't be an American historian, but some historian in some other country in some future time. It would be great if somebody could capture that. But that doesn't have to worry me, because that's August. I only say it because I noticed that all throughout those 4 years. I noticed all throughout those 4 years, both from Trump Klan members and also from normal patriotic Americans. I noticed on both sides of the question, people weren't willing to go any further than saying, well, the reason I'm arguing about this is because, not many people were willing to be completely explicit about that, about what everyone knew. And that can be challenging for a historian to write up. Even more so for, a non-American historian. That's what it would have to be. So what have we got here? Okay, we have a romance next. This is Helen Hunting. This is Starry-Eyed Love. When does this come out? May. This comes out in May. This is what you will get. It will be a $17 paperback. Sorry for the shifting light here. It stopped raining and now it looks like it's going to start again. We are definitely not going outside in this weather. Oh no, she would be very upset at that. Let's see here. Having just broke up with her boyfriend, London Spark is not in the mood to be hit on, especially not when she's out celebrating her single status with her sisters. I think we saw this already. This is sounding familiar. So when a very attractive man pays for their drinks and then slips her his number, she passes it right back to him with a thanks but no thanks. As the business administrator for their family's event hotel, the Spark House, London has more important things to worry about, like bringing in new clientele. As luck would have it, a multi-million-dollar company calls a few months later asking for a meeting to discuss a potential partnership, and London is eager to prove to her sisters and herself that she can land this deal. Just when she thinks she has nailed her presentation, the company's CEO, Jackson Holt, walks in and inserts himself into the meeting. Not only that, but he also happens to be the same guy she turned down at the bar a few months ago. So, is that a lesson about ever turning a guy down at the bar? This question came up recently in conversation with me, wondering now for your input. The old maneuver, the old barfly maneuver, the old operator maneuver at a crowded bar of telling the bartender that you are buying a drink for one particular person and sending it over them compliments of you. In the movies, the person then looks up and you go like that or something like that. In practice, it can also mean that the drink is your unspoken and ungiven invitation to go to that person's table and start up a conversation, or to invite them to come to you and start a conversation. This is typically men who do this to women, and I'm wondering what you think of it. Is it gone? If you were at a bar and someone did that, would you find that creepy? Coercive? I'd love to know that. I don't know quite what to think of it myself. To me, it seems a little creepy. It seems like it's, if there were a way to do that for someone, and explicitly no strings attached way, well, then maybe. But making sure that the bartender tells the recipient who sent the drink, it seems like you're advertising the fact not only that you think the person can be bought, but also advertising the fact that you've been watching them, which is just, it doesn't seem to me to be a positive upside. Am I overthinking that, or would it creep you out too? I don't really know. I'm not a frequent attender at bars. And then we have a last package here. No reason why this video has to be 40 minutes. We'll do this last one and then we'll be done. What have we got here? Okay, this is a finished copy. That's good. All right. What is the date? What is your date? What are your... Okay, this is May. All right, so we're not dealing with April finished copies anymore. We're dealing with May. What have we got here? Did we see this already? This is by Kelly Little Hernandez, and it is called Bad Mexicans: Race, Empire, and Revolution in the Borderlands. Oh, there's the baby's face. Can't block the baby's face. Bad Mexicans. This is from W.W. Norton, the great folks at W.W. Norton. What have we got here? The book begins with a 1910 lynching in the Borderlands. 20-year-old ranch hand Antonio Rodriguez was killed for purportedly murdering a white woman, but was also suspected of helping to bolster the coming revolt in Mexico against the dictator Porfirio Diaz. Hernandez swiftly shows how this murder, part of the wave of violence against Mexicans by white settlers enforcing a legal regime known as Juan Crow, sparked riots across Mexico. Ricardo Flores Magón, a charismatic and influential activist, and his followers, the Magonistas, had long mobilized to wrestle power from Diaz, igniting the Mexican Revolution, provoking an international backlash and forever remaking both Mexico and its northern neighbor. Drawing on a wide range of sources from stolen letters to government records, the author recounts the events and the consequences of the turn of the 20th century U.S.-Mexico relationship. President Diaz had been responsible for opening up his country to enormous foreign investment. His Mexico quickly became, as the author writes, the laboratory of U.S. imperialism. By 1910, of all the money Americans invested overseas, fully half of it, more than $500 million, went to Mexico. A new way of ruling from afar had been born. The United States, for the first time, bought land, extracted resources, and used labor in another country without directly assuming control over territory or governance. Everyone from Carnegie to Roosevelt praised Diaz as a great statesman who brought order and progress while lining American pockets. Oh my. The timing of this book, the time period of this book makes me worry for some of my guys. Let's see how well they're represented. William Howard Taft has only one mention on page 3. Why do I suspect that Theodore Roosevelt is not going to get off so easily? Let's take a look and find him. Now Theodore Roosevelt has a lot of mentions here. So does Elihu Root. Good Lord. All right. Well, this comes out on May 10th. So I don't have to get to this right away. I am still trying to deal with April. Dealing with April is going to be a little bit, good Lord, slapping down rain out of a clear sky. Dealing with April is going to be a little bit easier this week, since my deadlines are now done. My deadlines, I know, baby, I hear it too. It sounds awful. Your mortal enemy, the rain, is out there stalking. It's banging on the window saying, "Can Frida come out and play?" Oh, baby, it's all right. It's okay. I am now a little bit of a freer hand for April, to turn my attention to April, which is good because April's half over. It's about time I did. So those are our books for today. We've got some history, Bad Mexicans, going back to the so-called progressive era in America in the turn of the 20th century. Starry-Eyed Love in its finished trade paperback. Democracy's Data, which sounds like it started out life as some sort of doctoral thesis about a census in the 1940s and has metamorphosed into a larger inquiry about what the census is and what it does. And finally, Bad Actors, the finished copy of the new Mick Herron. So not bad, half fiction, half nonfiction. A couple of finished copies and one book that's long down the chute, the end of August, when I don't need to worry about it now. So that's the mail for today. Unless more mail dodges through the raindrops to get to me, I will let you know. And otherwise, I'll wrap this up for now. But I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.